So today we are going to solve this question on the board. It's a quadratic equation and we're going to solve this using the factorization method. Basically, there are four methods used in solving quadratic equations. One of which is a factorization method. Second method is using completing the squared method. The third method is using the quadratic formula. And the fourth method is graphical method. So in this video, we'll be using the factorization method, and take note, not all quadratic equations can be solved using the factorization method. So in cases where factorization method does not work, you use the quadratic formula to solve such questions. So today, let's see how we can use the factorization method. I have some other videos explaining how we can use the completing the square method and also using the quadratic formula. All right, so to solve questions like these, the first thing you need to do is to multiply the coefficient of x squared by the constant. So if we recall the general quadratic equation, which says ax squared plus bx minus c is equal to 0, where c is the constant, a is the coefficient of x squared, and in our example here, 18 is a, negative 33 is our b, and positive 15 is our c. So the first thing we need to do is to use the coefficient of x squared and multiply the constant. So that basically means 18 multiplied by 15. And if we do 18 multiplied by 15, we're going to have 270. The second step we use when we're solving quadratic equations using the factorization method is to look for two numbers such that their product will be equal to 270. In this example, in this case, the product is going to be 270 and their sum is going to be negative 33. That's the number you see here. When you sum those two numbers, we don't know what those two numbers are. We're going to look for those two numbers, and I'm going to teach you how you can find these two numbers. This has always been a major challenge for students solving quadratic equations using the factorization method. The major challenge is looking for these two numbers. It's quite difficult for students to know what these two numbers are, especially when the values involved are big numbers. But there is a trick on how you can easily just, in less than a minute, know what these two numbers are. And stick around, and I'm going to show you how you can do that. Okay, so we're looking for two numbers such that their product is going to be 270. And the same two numbers that their sum is going to be negative 33. How do we look for these two numbers? Here is a trick. I'm just going to look for the factors of 270. So if I look for the factors of 270, I can use a division method to look for the factors of 270, or I can use the multiplication method. But I like using the division method because it helps me to even get the factors of bigger numbers easily without missing out any of the factors. So I always go with the division method. So if I use the division method to get the factors of 270, I'm going to say 2 is going to divide 270, and that's going to be 135. And then now 3 can divide, because 2 cannot divide 135, so I can use 3. 3 divided by 135, that means 3 will go into 12 is 4 times, remember 1. Carry that 1 to 5, it becomes 15. 3 going to 15 is what? 5. So 3 divided by 135 is 45. And then 3 can also go. 3 divided by 45 means 3 will go into 4 one time, remainder 1. carry that remainder up to 5, it becomes 15. 3 divided by 15 is 5. And then 3 can still divide this. This gives us 5. And then 5 divide 5, we have 1. So all these numbers you see here are the factors of 270. Now, here is a trick. How am I going to remember? We are just looking for two numbers such that when we multiply these two numbers, we will get 270. And then when we add these two numbers, we are going to have negative 33. Now, here is a trick. This is what I do. I'm going to pair these two numbers together. I'm going to pair these two together. They look alike, the same numbers. I'm going to pair this one together, and this will be left on its own. All right, so 3 times 3 is 9, so this is going to give me 9. 5 times 3 is 15, and I'm left to just 2. Okay, so this means 9 times 2 is 18. So the whole of this with this gives me 18. Because this 9 multiplied by this 2 is 18. So I have 15 and 18. So those two numbers are 15 and 18 and 15. That took me less than a minute to derive what those numbers are. It's just a trick you need to master. But what we're looking for is negative 33 when we sum. If we sum these two numbers together, we're definitely not going to have negative 33. We'll just have, this is just going to give us 33, not negative 33. Okay? So what we're going to do to have negative 33 is to introduce negative signs. So we're going to see where we're going to put some negative signs so that we can achieve negative 33. So if we say negative 18, remember we are adding these two numbers. Let's remove this negative sign first. We are adding 18 plus 15. The two numbers we discovered were 18 and 15. Remember the rule says sum the two numbers together. So we are summing these two numbers together. But this number is not just 18, it's not just 15. Because if we sum 18 and 15, we will not have negative 33. So what I'm going to do is, if I say negative 18 plus negative 15, that's going to give me negative 18. Plus times minus is minus. That's going to be minus and then 15. So negative 18 minus 15, or negative 18 negative 15 is equal to negative 33. Good job. And this same number, negative 18 multiplied by negative 15, is going to give us positive 270. Because negative multiplied by negative is positive. 18 multiplied by 15 is 270. So here we go. The two numbers are negative 18 and negative 15. All right, so having gotten that, we need to proceed by saying if, okay, let me wipe this off. So please don't forget how we derive those numbers by just looking for the factors of that, what we got. So we know negative 15, negative 18. So I'm going to recall this, that if we have 18x squared minus 18x minus 15x plus 15 is equal to 0. Now what have I done here? I just substituted this for this, because negative 18x minus 15x is still equal to negative 33x. So instead of me just writing this 33 minus 33x again, I can substitute it for this. So that's exactly what I've done there. And we can proceed by factorizing this. This is going to say 18x squared minus 18x. And then we have plus negative 15x plus 15. It's all equal to 0. Okay, so if we want to factorize this, we look at 18 and 18, and we look at 15 and 15. So let's see what's common between 18 and 18, 15 and 15. Well, I can say 6 is common. So I can say 6x into what's left here is 3x minus 3 plus 15 and 15. What's common? 5 is common. So to eliminate this negative sign, I'll just multiply through by negative 1. If I multiply through by negative 1, this now becomes negative. So what's common between 15 and 15? 5 is common. This now becomes 3x. And then this becomes negative 3. Remember, we multiplied the whole of this by negative 1. So this will change to 15x, because negative multiplied by this negative is positive. Negative multiplied by this positive becomes negative. So this is what we had. So if I do 5 multiplied by 3x is 15x. And then negative 5 multiplied by negative 3 is positive 15. Positive 15. So there we go. And if you notice, when solving quadratic equations in the factorization method, you factorize such that what you have in this bracket should be what you have in this other bracket. So if we do that, this becomes 6x minus 5 into 3x minus 3 is all equal to 0. Okay, what this simply means is that 6x minus 5 is equal to 0, or 3x minus 3 is equal to 0. This means 6x is equal to positive 5, therefore x is equal to 5 over 6, or 3x is equal to positive 3, therefore x is equal to 3 over 3, which is equal to 1. Therefore, we have two values of x. Therefore, two values of x is equal to 5 over 6, or 1. So that becomes the value of x when we factorize the quadratic equation above. Pretty simple, just 2 steps. Multiply the coefficient of x squared by the constant. Whatever you get, look for two numbers such that when you multiply those two numbers, you will get that value of what you multiplied. And then when you sum those same two numbers you're looking for, you're going to get negative 33. And once you get those two numbers, your factorization becomes easy. All right, let's look at the second question, and also using the same method. Let's solve something else using the same method. And we have a question that says if we have 63 x squared minus 50x plus 8 is equal to 0. Now, these numbers look so big. Don't be scared when you see big numbers in mathematics. Don't be scared. They're just numbers. And if you, as long as you know the rules, you know the principles behind it, just follow the principles. Don't be scared about, oh, numbers are so big, this will look very difficult. This still looks very simple. It's not different from what we just solved. First step, I need to multiply 63 by 8. So if I multiply 63 by 8, I'm going to have 504. So first step, I multiply 63 by 8. We're going to have 504. So now I'm looking for two numbers such that when I multiply these two numbers, I will have 504. That's their product will be 504. And then when I sum these two numbers, their sum is going to give me negative 50. Always this number. Wow, how do I get these numbers? There are lots of numbers in the world. I mean, what are those two numbers? Those two numbers might want to make this whole question look so miserable to us, but don't be scared. We're still going to use our method of finding the factors of 504. That's just your best bet to get this thing as quick as possible. So let's do that. We're going to find the factors of 504. So looking for the factors of 504, we can say 2 can go into 504. 2 divided by 504. 2 divided by 50 is 25. 2 divided by 4 is 2. So 25 plus 2, that's going to give me, okay, yeah, 25 and 2. This is, clean this off. 2 can go into 50, that's 25. 2 can go into 4, and that's 2. Okay, 2 can still go. And 2 going to 25, it means 2 going to 25 is 12 times remainder 1. Carry the remainder 1 to 2 becomes 12. 2 going to 12 is 6. 2 can still divide this. 2 divided by 12 is 6. And 2 divided by 3, 2 divided by 6 rather is 3. At this point, 2 cannot divide again. Why do I know 2 can divide? Because the last number here is an odd number. So whenever you have a number that was the last number is an odd number, I don't care what that number is, 2 can never divide it evenly. So that's why I know that 2 cannot divide 63 again. So I'm going to look for the nearest number to 2, which is 3. So 3 divided by 6 is 2 times. 3 divided by 3 is 1 time. 3 can still go, is 7 times. And then 7 can go, and that's 1 time. So now look for the factors. All right, so I can pair these two numbers that are the same. 3 times 3, that's 9. I pair these two numbers that are the same. 2 times 2, that's 4. And then I have these numbers that are not paired together. That's 7 and 2. That's 14. That's when you multiply them. So now how do we get these numbers from here? Okay, we already have 14, and then 9 times 4 is what? So if we multiply, let's try. We're just making a test to see if we do 9 times, if we do 9 times 4, 9 times 4 is 36, and then 14. Let's take this 14. 36 and 14. Okay, now let's try. Definitely 36 times 14 is going to give me 504. Without even doing, how do I know? Because all the numbers here, once you multiply all the numbers here, you must have this number. You must get back to this number. So 36 and 14 were gotten from here. All right, so but let's see what that gives us. 36 times 14 is 504 if you multiply that. Okay, that worked. Now let's see if we add 36 and 14, if we will have 500 and if we will have 50. 36 plus 14. Are we going to have negative 50? Well, this is just going to give us 50, but not negative. So to get our negative 50, we're going to see where we're going to add our negative sign. So this is going to be negative 36 plus negative 14, and that will give us negative 50. So that means this is going to be negative 36. Now we are multiplying. It's going to be multiplied by negative 14 to give us positive 504. I hope you understood what just happened there. So this is going to be negative 36 and negative 14. Remember, we found the number to be 36 and 14, but 36 plus 14 is not giving us negative 50. We need negative 50. We don't just need 50, we need a negative 50. So to achieve negative 50, ordinarily 13 plus 14 is not going to give us negative 50. It's just going to give us 50. So for us to achieve the negative 50, that means we have to say negative 36 plus negative 14. And if we do the same negative 36 multiplied by negative 14, we're still going to have 504. So now we know what these two values are. Then we are good to go. We'll proceed. So the two numbers were negative 36 and negative 14. Okay, so let's proceed with the question by saying this is going to be 63x squared minus 36x minus 14x plus 8 is equal to 0. This is the same thing as saying 63x squared minus 36x plus negative 14x plus 8 is equal to 0. Okay, so let's look at what's common between 63 and 36. Then look what's common between 63 and 36. That simply means we'll just look for the highest common factor. Let me take you back. I'm just being very generous for those who are just still trying to understand the concept of mathematics. That's what we do on this channel. We don't assume you know it. We simplify everything to the basis. So now I want to factorize this. I want to factorize this. And to factorize this, I'm going to look for a number that is common between 63 and 36. So 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 2 is 4. So that simply means I can use 9 to get okay, let's do for 63. That simply means 3 can go here is 21, 3 can go here is 7, and then 7 can go here is 1. So 3 times 3 is also 9. So you can see 9 is common here, 9 is common here. So I'm going to use 9 as what's common between 36 and 63. So that's what I'm going to use. So if I factorize that, 9 is common between them. So I'm going to have 9, x squared and x. What's common is x. So this is x and then I rewrite what's left inside the bracket. So what's left inside is going to be 7x minus, this is going to be 4. So 9x multiplied by 7x is going to give us 63x squared. Again, 9x multiplied by negative 4 is going to give us 36, negative 36x. So that factorization was pretty correct. You see how these things are so easy with using these tricks. Just for me to know what's common between 63 and 36, I just looked for the factors of those numbers and then look at what's common in between those factors. And I was able to quickly just get that number. And I'm going to continue this by saying we have multiplying because of this negative sign here. I'm going to multiply through by minus 1. So this is going to give me minus 1 multiplied by 14x is going to be, okay, let me rewrite this. This is negative into 14x negative 8 is equal to 0. Because I want to eliminate this negative sign. For me to eliminate this negative sign, I'm going to use negative 1 to multiply through this bracket. So this is going to give me, so there is a negative sign here multiplying through the bracket. So a negative sign here, I got to put that for you. Negative 1. So positive multiplied by negative is negative. Negative multiplied by negative 14 is positive 14. Negative multiplied by positive 8 is negative 8. So you see how we arrived at what we have here. So now I need to factorize this bracket. Remember, I've not factorized here. I just only multiply through so that the sign can go off. So proceeding here, we have to factorize this other one. So this gives us 9x into 7x minus 4 minus what's common between 14 and 8. That's 2. So, and then I'll be left with 7x minus 4 equal to 0. Take note, what we have in this bracket must always be what we're going to have in this other bracket. Always take note. So your factorization should have that in common. So this means 9x minus 2 and 7x minus 4 is equal to 0. What this means is 9x minus 2 is equal to 0, or 7x minus 4 equal to 0. And this means 9x is equal to 2, or 7x is equal to 4. Therefore, x is equal to 4 over 7, or in this case, x is equal to 2 over 9. So we have the values of x. Okay, so let's move to another question here. This one wants to look a little bit tricky, but it's not. Pretty simple. We're asked to solve the quadratic equation 5x squared is equal to 20. So to solve this question, what we're just going to do is still pretty simple. This is the same thing as saying 5x squared minus 20 is equal to 0. Okay, so this is the same thing as saying if we factorize, we have that 5x squared is going to be 5. Okay, let's factorize this first. This is 5 into x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. Basically, what I've just done here, 5 times x, 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times negative 4, 5 times negative 4 is equal to negative 20. So the whole of this is the same thing as this. So we're going to proceed. Looking at this question, we have something that looks like, let's factorize what's inside this bracket first. X squared minus 4 is the same thing as saying x squared minus 2 to the power of 2. Permit me to call this equation 1 because I'll come back to that equation. And from difference of 2 square, recall difference of 2 square, if you have, this is difference of 2 square. Difference of 2 square says if you have a square minus b squared, it is equal to a minus b, a plus b. Recall difference of 2 square. So this x square minus 2 to the power of 2, difference of 2 square, in this case here, our x is our a, our 2 is our b. So this simply means, remember here our x is a, and here our 2 is b. So anywhere I see a here, I'm going to put x, and anywhere I see b, I'm going to put 2. Okay? So that simply means anywhere I see a, I'm going to put x. So this means x minus anywhere I see b, I'm going to put 2. Anywhere I see a, I'm going to put x. Anywhere I see b, I'm going to put 2. All right, so this is what the difference of 2 square for that simply means. Now recall what equation 1 says. Recall equation 1. I'm going to recall equation 1 here. I'm just going to rewrite it so that we don't screw up. You can see it clearly. From equation 1 says 5 into x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. What this simply means is, remember what our x squared minus 4 means. This means 5 into x squared minus 2 to the power of 2 is equal to 0. What this simply means is, remember what x squared minus 2x means. This means 5 into, remember what this means, this. So I can substitute that to be 5 into x minus 2 x plus 2, or equal to 0. Now in this case, 5 cannot be equal to 0. Therefore, we have the two values of x is x minus 2 is equal to 0, or x plus 2 equal to 0. And this simply means x is equal to 2, or x is equal to negative 2. So the two values of x we have is x is equal to negative 2 or x equal to positive 2. Okay, yes, we have one last question, and this question I'm going to leave it to you to solve it. I'm going to put this question on the board, and then I want you to solve this question. Don't look at the procedures of solving this. Solve it on your own, and when you're done, come back to the video and then watch if you got it right. And if you didn't get it right, just learn from the mistakes you made and make a correction. So after watching this video, if you get it right, if you got it right, comment in the comment box, I got it right. If you didn't get it, also comment, I didn't get it right. And then you make your correction. So here is the question. We have 2x squared plus 13x plus 9 is equal to negative 6. That goes your question. All right, let's solve this together real quick. So to solve this question, we can rewrite this by saying 2x squared plus 13x plus 9 plus 6 is equal to 0. Negative 6 crossing equality sign, we're just collecting like terms. So what we just did here was collect like terms. So you can see 9 and 6 are alike, they're just integers. So we can collect them together. This is 2x squared plus 13x plus 9 plus 6 is 15 equal to 0. You can call this equation 1. So you can see equation 1 now looks like our general quadratic equation. So using the normal steps, we're going to multiply 15 by 2. That's going to give us 30. So we're going to look for two numbers such that when we multiply them, we'll have 30, and then we'll sum them up, we'll have 13. So look for those two numbers again. Remember our trick, 30. Now let's divide 30 by, let's look for the factors of 30. So 2 can go into this is 15. 3 can divide here is 5. 5 can divide here is 1. So 3 times 5 is 15. And then 2. So the two numbers are 15 and 2. So 15 and 2, 15 multiplied by 2 is going to give us positive 30. Then 15 plus 2 is not going to give us, 15 plus 2 is not going to give us, what's it called? It's not going to give us positive 13. So now let's see how we can get those numbers. So 15 plus 2 is equal to 13. Sorry, is equal to, this is 17, but we're looking for 13. So that's not going to work. Okay, what about if we do 15 and negative 2? So if we do negative 15, let's try negative 15 plus 2. Negative 15 plus 2 is going to give us negative 13, which is not what we are looking for. Okay, from 15 and 2, we've tried 15, negative 15 plus negative 2. That's going to give us negative 17. So 15 and 2, it's not going to work. So that's not going to work because 15 and 2 cannot give us what we're looking for. So let's try something else here. Let's try 10 and 2, which is 10. And then we have 3. 5 times 2 is 10. So we have 10 and 3. So 10 times 3 is equal to 30, and then 10 plus 3 is equal to 13. So those numbers are 10 and 3. All right, so 15 and 2 did not work. So I believe you just understood what happened there. So you just need to look very well for the numbers that will fit. So 10 and 3 are those numbers. So I'm going to substitute. This is plus 10x plus 3x plus 15 is equal to 0. So this is 2x squared plus 10x plus 3x plus 15 is equal to 0. So I'm just taking this, pairing this together. So that's just what I just did there. Let me pair those together. So now we need to factorize each of the brackets. So what's common between 2 and 10? What's common is 2. What's common between x squared and x? X squared and x. What's common there is x. So I'm going to say x. And then I write what's left in the bracket is going to be x plus 5. If you expand these brackets, you're going to come back to this. If you open these brackets, you're going to come back to this. You can do that on your own and then see if that was correct. So now we're going to expand what's common between 3 and 15. What's common between 3 and 15 is 3. So I'm going to put my 3 here, and then I say x plus 5 equal to 0. Notice what I have inside here must be what you have inside the other bracket. If you don't have that, then you should go back to your work and look at where you made a mistake. So this means 2x plus 3, and then x plus 5 is equal to 0. Therefore, 2x plus 3 is equal to 0, or x plus 5 is equal to 0. Therefore, 2x is equal to negative 3, or x is equal to negative 5, and x is equal to negative 3 over 2, or x is equal to negative 5. So that becomes the answer for the values of x when you factorize that quadratic equation.